Welcome to TATuP Talks, a podcast by Journal for Technology Assessment in Theory and Practice. Hello, everyone. This is a new episode of the TATuP podcast. Thank you very much for being here. And first of all, I would like you to introduce yourself. Karen, would you please start to say one or two sentences about your work?
Thank you, Leonie. I also want to thank you on behalf of the whole team for organizing this podcast. So we are very excited to be able to share some thoughts on this issue. My name is Karen Kastenhofer, and I have been working in technology assessment for the past, since 2007, more or less. And I'm also a science and technology studies scholar. My main research fields have mostly been ethical, legal, social aspects of biotechnologies, and I'm now moving towards digitalization of the life sciences and societal ramifications.
Thank you very much. Astrid, please.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Astrid Schwarz. I'm a professor of technoscience studies at the Brandenburg Technical University in Cottbus. I'm mainly interested in what we call environmental anthropology and in, culture of technological processes and objects. So my main projects at the moment are involved in gardening practices, which falls in a sense in both fields I was just naming. And the other one is about is called Lusatian rhythms, and there I'm interested in something that I start calling sonic environmentalities. So we are interested, in how people approach their experiences on loss of environment, of also of their culture as they were used to live in.
Thank you very much. Ravi, would you please follow?
Good evening, Leonie. Good evening, my colleagues. I'm Krishna Ravi Srinivas. I'm an adjunct professor of law at Nalsar University of Law. I also direct a Center of Excellence on AI and Law. Basically, my background is PhD in Law and Social Sciences relating to intellectual property rights. But then over the last 2 decades also, I've covered a lot of areas in science, technology, innovation, science, technology studies, including technology assessment, responsible business innovation and all. Currently, my focus is more on governance of law, particularly law, technology, regulation of emerging technologies, which includes AI, although I've been writing a lot about emerging technologies like synthetic biology even much earlier as well. So as of now, today I'm doing more work related to AI, particularly responsible AI, as well as the AI governance policy and other related things. And the technology assessment, I've been working as part of the global technology assessment, as part of some of the earlier projects where the technology assessment was also a focus. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So last but not least, Andrea, please.
Yeah, hi. Thanks so much for being able to be here. My name is Andrea Vetter, and I am also working at the Brandenburg Technical University in Cottbus in a different chair, the chair for technology and environmental sociology. I am currently working there in a research project on renewable energies and acceptance of these in peripheral regions. And I'm a transformation researcher in theory and practice. So I'm doing a lot of scientific and also artistic research around convivial technologies in the field of degrowth, the field of commons and ecofeminism mainly. And I also working in several projects who apply them in practical life.
Thank you very much. So now we heard you all have a broad range and of course similarities as well. And what is always interesting to know is how you found together as a group, and how come that you decided to hand in an abstract for the special topic, which was also accepted? So probably Karen, as a lead of the group, can you explain something about the background? How come that you published together?
Yeah, I think there are at least 4 different stories now for each one of us, how we came to engage in this special issue. Mm, My own story is a very distinct one, really. I just thought about the background when thinking about this podcast. So my specific story is that I wanted to do a special conference panel on ethical, legal, and social aspects of biotechnologies uh, after there had been after there had been less discussion about such issues in the science technology studies community. And I contacted colleagues whom I had known for about 20 years who had been working in this field. And then I got responses, and I saw that many of them had moved on and were no longer focusing on biotechnology as a high tech, one might call it. But for instance, whom I appreciate a lot as a scholar, he told me he had moved on to focus on agri-food alternatives and social movements. And this made me think, so what's happening here? Why do scholars refocus on low tech, if you so want, on movements rather than technologies? And what is, what might be the upsides and the motivations behind that? And I did organize the panel still, but it also kept me thinking. And this was one major motivation behind starting to organize the special issue. And then I read Andrea's book on conviviale Technik. And for me, this was kind of mind-blowing also because it's written that well. It's in German, unfortunately, so not for everyone to read, but it's a really, really well-written book. And I really like the scope also she's opening up there. And then I knew I had known Astrid for a long time as a philosopher of technology, philosopher of technology. And it becomes very clear in Andrea's book also that philosophy of technology is a core aspect of rethinking how we might approach technology also from a technology assessment perspective. And Ravi I had known because he had also worked on biotechnology, on synthetic biology, but he's also a renowned international TA scholar with a lot of experience and expertise on different geopolitical contexts. So that's the background why I tried to gather the specific selection of scholars.
Thank you very much for this explanation. I would like to cite the first sentence of your introduction, and then probably the others can come in as well. So the first sentence of your introduction is a question. Do we need to reconsider technology assessment scholarship practice in institutions when values such as human ecological sufficiency, intra and intergenerational justice, solidarity, conviviality, and care are deeply acknowledged? And after having published the issue, after having coped with all the articles in the issue, would you answer the question yes or no, and why? So probably Astrid, you can say something to that if you want.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, indeed. I've been working together with this distinct 3 authors, and on this paper was so much important for me also to, just to bring further my thinking about different settings of care and different ideas about how to deal with recalcitrance and robustness at the same time. So I realized, I fully agree with what Karen just was saying, that it's really an interesting phenomenon that many people also in my surrounding are getting more and more to think about, movements, about infrastructures, about social technical changes based on participatory principles, things like that. And I also realized, I mean, working in this very, I think, still very particular region in Lusatia, I also realized that there is a certain tension between the scholarly research on transformation and those people that live this transformation. So I became very, very much interested in what you were, I mean, what all of this is in this question you were just citing. So how can we get at this challenge of different scales and of different conceptualizations, and of course also of different realities of life forms.
Thank you so much. Andrea, do you have something to add, or do you want to say something else to this core question of your introduction?
I mean, I can maybe just add a little remark, as Astrid already covered a lot. I would say the answer is yes to that questions, like institutions and TA should change. Because in the institutions and infrastructures we have, it is not possible to add sustainability, conviviality, or care as something on the top of what is. But if you take it serious, you kind of would have to flip around technology production, and also assessment, of course, coming with production and usage. But as the special issue also has shown, I think this is discussion that is just at the beginning now. Like we cannot, like we live in a universe of manifold path dependencies, of course. And it's nothing where we just flip our hand and say, oh, now everything is different. That's nonsense. So I think it's very important that we engage and go deeper and start this real deep discussions about what can be changed and how, and who are our networks, like theoretical networks to think with, but also practical networks to tinker with, so to say, in these questions. And there is also people who have done this for decades, as always. But like to find a closer web and to develop further into these questions, I think it's really worthwhile. And it's great that TATuP gives possibilities to do this.
Thank you very much. Ravi, looking at the development of the technology assessment in the past decades and from now on, so what's your point to this core question?
My point or my major argument is that yes, we need to come to grips with a lot of things, particularly when there are a lot of emerging technologies, and all the more it's not just technology but also technological convergence that is becoming a reality we have to face. So in that context, this question or what the way the issue has posed the broad contours of the issues before TA community is very right. But if we go beyond that, today you look at there is a convergence of artificial intelligence, synthetic biology, and biotechnology on one hand. Then of course artificial intelligence and nanotechnology and other technologies on the other hand. And not to speak of AI getting into the way science is being organized, being done. And then technology assessment here becomes all the more critical and all the more challenging because some of the things which we had earlier talked about, particularly the dual use categories, are expanding. In the essence, they're expanding in the sense today, with the help of AI and with the help of other things, it is possible to think more in terms of a lot of other dual-use technologies than we ever had. So this convergence is one major dilemma or is a major challenge. The other challenge is that are we really able to come to understand or come to grips with some of the things like totally unanticipated developments in technological development and deployment. For example, none thought that LLMs, apps, and all these things would become so popular in a decade. And second, the wall or the categorization between technology, app, and other thing is also shrinking. Shrinking in the sense that there are there's a lot of overlap, there's a lot of things that converge, then there is also very difficult to differentiate. I mean, how will you differentiate an app? Is it a technology or is it an application? Today, the other issue which we also face is that many of the medical devices which were earlier classified as medical devices are not just medical devices because they are linked into hospitals, they are linked into from our bodies. We have no idea as to where the data goes, who does what. So this reconfiguration, there is the word I would like to put it, both reconfiguration of technologies and then convergence is a real major challenge for technology assessment. Of course, the issue has also talked about the question of renewable energy and then the way we need to think beyond some of the traditional approaches when we look at the green transition and the technology assessment is equally important. So I think there are a lot of parallel emerging tracks which deserve our attention. So that way, this issue has opened up a lot of new inquiries, new avenues for inquiries.
Thank you very much for your explanations. I was wondering, your call addressed quite a broad range of disciplines. Have there been any surprises within the abstracts you received to the call of abstracts, or were the abstracts all from teams where you said, "Oh well, we know this one, that one. This topic was quite foreseeable." Have you met any new areas of disciplines or new fields or people you haven't known from before? Probably Karen.
So I think with this whole issue, we never took the easy road. So we didn't have specific people in mind. We didn't invite specific people because we would have known that they had the answer, because there seems not to be the answer. So it's not a road where you can expect quick fixes and quick answers. So every submission was a surprise. Somehow we got a number that was doable for us, possible to handle. We also lost then some of the submissions on the way. We saw that it was quite challenging, not only for us, but also for the authors to answer to our ambitions. And we also thought a very long time about whom to invite for the interview section. This was also then a surprise. Ravi then had the idea to ask Mario, and it really resulted, I think, in very exciting texts and contributions. But all of this was, to me at least, surprises, except for maybe that digital technologies featured quite prominently in the examples. This is something you would find in all TA contexts at our time now.
Very, very interesting to hear that. How about the others? Did you expect something, or were you surprised by any teams you haven't known before of? Astrid, did you want to say something?
Well, yes, I wouldn't say that I did not expect particular teams, but I expected particular topics. And one of these topics was certainly agro-food, and another one was, well, in this huge field of biogenetic engineering, maybe also biosynthesis, things like that, and nothing or not explicitly came up here. And I was also surprised that that the historical depth was not that explicitly present. I mean, there were of course references to known historical works on this, since we are all aware of that there's not that much newness in what we brought up. I mean, which doesn't make it easier, the whole endeavor, I have to say. But that was perhaps also a bit surprising, yeah.
Interesting. What is always interesting for people who are not so familiar with TATuP or with publishing a special issue is the way you work together. So sometimes we have teams from 2, sometimes we have teams from 4, 5, 6 people who function as special topic editors. And I would like to know very quickly, how was your work together? Did you meet regularly? Did you communicate via email? Did you have Zoom or team sessions? So, Andrea, probably you can just give us some insights about how your work was.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to give praise to Karen, who was so brave and really managed us in a great way. So without her, like, I think the special issue would never have come out. So this was really a pleasure to work with you, and also to see like your professionality and friendliness in gathering us. And then we did a lot of work via email. Like we did not meet regularly, I think. We didn't even have a video call before, so we didn't, at least I didn't know all the others before, and so it was a really interesting experience to like get to know also the viewpoints of the others via this like constant emailing back and forth. And so I'm really happy that it worked out. But maybe there's others who want to um, bring in other perspectives as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, it was nice. I mean, working through emails, because that is the most efficient, most easier way to work, given our other commitments, time difference, and all. And it's also that we had a clear understanding about what we want from the issue or what we expect from the authors. So, despite we took time to do some peer review revisions and the process which any journal undergoes, which we are all very familiar. We were very clear that the quality should not be compromised at any cost. So I think that, and then that, or more, the attention we pay to the specific issues being addressed by each of the chapters, I think had a whole lot of things to make these things made us working together much more easier. The sense that we had a shared understanding of many things, although we did not explicitly make it in writing.
Okay, I see. Yeah, for us, it's always also a challenge to keep all the processes in mind and keep the teams working, because we know that you all have your other work, and that TATuP is something, or special issues are something which usually come on top, and that there's long periods of nothing to do, and then there's periods of where you need to do more. So it's always challenging for us, but we also found that it was very a pleasure to work with you together. I can say that. I would like, probably as a last question, what was it like to see the issue published, either in digital form or in the paper version? Yeah, what was it like for you to have that thing done? And probably, what did you do? Did you show it to people in your communities? Could you say something to that?
Should I start?
Yeah. Yes, please. Thank you.
So I also wanted to add to the former issue that with this special issue, we were quite also in contact with the authors. It was more interaction with the authors than I'm used to with special issues. It was also a very intense process between us as guest editors and the contributions. As to after the publication, it's always nice, of course, to have the printed product in hands. I love this moment. And I've since presented once with the team here at Astrid, but Astrid can say more about that. But I've also now presented to groups of students twice this very issue, and got a lot of response. So it seems that the next generation of scholars is very interested in the direction we sketch here, and responds quite a lot to what we can present with this issue. So it has been very lively, and also we have ongoing discussions and ongoing exchange of literature recommendations, which is also very nice.
Great. Thank you. Astrid, do you want to add something?
Yes, just very shortly, we had a small event in the context of our technoscience colloquium, which went very well, and we had obviously so much to discuss that the rest of the session completely went out of time. So that perhaps something about the interest of people being present in this session. But I would have a question to you. What is the echo to this issue? Do you have any? Have you got any comments? Any? What about the readership? You certainly also have a kind of measurement issues here.
Thank you very much for this question. We always have, of course, our readership in mind. The thing is, the interaction is not that seeable. We know that people read TATuP, we have our statistics, and we track that and we keep that in mind, but we don't get, for example, emails, or it's very rare that we get emails where people say, oh, well, this is a nice issue. We get very a lot of feedback by face-to-face, where people say, oh, wow, that's a nice issue. Then we always, or sometimes we have the that people say, oh, well, there's this workshop coming up. Do you remember the issue to this or that topic? So this happens quite often. However, directly after publications, the feedback is mostly via LinkedIn, because there we are quite active, and then we get likes and smileys, of course, and sometimes also comments. But we don't expect people to interact that much with us, apart from concrete topics like, as I said, workshops or conferences or so. Yeah, that's quite a pity, but we're used to it, and we know that people do appreciate the topics nonetheless. So I think that's the important message. Yeah, thank you. Ravi, what about you? Did you share the issue or the topic in your community?
Yes, I did. I did put it up on some of the networks I'm associated with, also among my colleagues. But see, the thing is that many of the things which this issue discuss and the content of the issue itself, is not something that is hotly debated in a country like India, because this is an issue of talks of things which people are just trying to get familiarized themselves. And of course, it's also true that by and large, some of these typical academic work, they are read only even academics, those who are keen or those who have a special interest in them. So in that way, yes, I did share it with many people. But hopefully, I'm sure that people it'll take time for people to read and come back. And then people may come back to me later and say, oh, I think you shared me to have, are you working on it, or can you recommend me someone whom I should read further? And all? Then I think it'll have an impact. But in the long run, things are available in the net. And my experience is that often what happens is that certain things they get noticed or they get widely, cited, not immediately after 1 or 2 years or after 3 years when people cite or when people rewrite or when people know, oh, look, oh, somebody written about this way back in 2025. I think how I wonder how I missed it, but then this is not the journal I'm aware of. So these things do happen. And so I'm sure that the issue as of 2025, we may not get 2 or 3 citations in this year. That doesn't mean that people will not read it. People will, because the issue is so relevant that it will be relevant at least for next decade. So I think we may be getting more readership in the years to come than right now. And then it takes years or some time for people to understand and then to read and reflect.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to you said two interesting points. So the one is the feedback on the long run, and we see that in our statistics that articles which have been published 10, 15 years ago have the highest click rate, so to say. So of course there has been longer time to develop, but it's also that topics are being rethought and that the topics are of interest for a longer time. So we see that as well. So I can support that, what you say. And the other thing is that we also think about internationalization in TATuP, which is of course dependent of internationalization of the whole field of technology assessment. And what we can say is that there is a really remarkable trend to more English articles in TATuP. So it's not only that more international people are publishing, but also German-speaking people are publishing more and more in English, and that is a trend which we see critically on the one hand, and on the other hand, it means that we open the field to more, potentially more people and a different audience. So that's very, very interesting. Andrea, what about you? What was it for you to have the final issue published?
For me, this is always a tough one because I think I'm a quite self-critical person. So I'm not like Karen that I like the moment when it's out there, but then first when it's out there, I'm really like, what have we done? Like, it's in everything I publish. This is really, I don't know. I think maybe others out there feel as well like this. I think it's good also if students hear that sometimes also senior researchers um, like have these problems in bringing things out or yeah. But then when it's been there for some days, I'm always happy like that it comes slowly, slowly. But I think next year I'll be even more happy. And of course, I liked a lot that you did from TATuP did this sharing in LinkedIn, and I also tried like to repost this and share it with people in my fields, and also got interesting response. And I think I was really happy also that Karen, as she mentioned before, like really brought in my work on convivial technologies a lot in a special issue. And I'm curious also to see if this will spark more interest in like the topic of convivial technologies, which I feel it is already a bit. So yesterday, I think I was in the podcast Economics for Rebels, and they were also very interested in like conviviality things. And so this is always, yeah, I'm with Ravi also to say like, let's see how this will evolve also in the next years.
Yeah, we can show you the statistics in about 10 years. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing these insights, and thank you again for yeah, your interest in TATuP and being able for publishing the special issue. And yeah, I wish you all the best for your future work, and we keep in touch anyway. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Thank you all.
Bye.